Namaskar. I am Mrinal Talungar. Today we are discussing the recent Supreme Court judgment on citizenship, which has dramatically impacted the issue of Bangladeshi infiltration in Assam and India. The Bangladeshi immigration has been a very contentious subject in Assam for over 5 decades, dominating the socio-political landscape and shaping the actions of political parties and leaders over the decades. There are two main perspectives. The majority of indigenous people of Assam believe that millions have migrated from Bangladesh and living in Assam illegally. The other side argued that migration, yes, occurred until 1971 and that Assam Accord accepted. And these migrants, but lakhs of people still face daily harassment and legal battles to prove their citizenship. This emotionally charged issue presents strong arguments on the both sides. The Supreme Court judgment now states that authorities cannot arrest or charge someone on mere suspicion or allegation of being Bangladeshi without proper evidence. This is a game changer. For decades, Assam border police would send notices to suspected Bangladeshis, quote unquote, forcing them to spend the rest of their life in court trying to avoid prison and deportation. Currently, nearly about 1 lakh people, little less than 1 lakh, are facing trial before Foreigners Tribunal and another 19 lakh excluded from Aadhar due to their NRC status. Let's go into the nuances of the judgment with experts, Advocate of Guwahati High Court Aman Wadud, and I am Professor Baharul Islam. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining me in this show. And first of all, I'm going across to Aman Wadud because you are daily handling citizenship issues, and then I'll go to Professor Baharul Islam. Opening remarks shortly. How big this particular issue is for you, Aman Wadud?
This is a watershed moment in the citizenship jurisprudence. It took so long to utter very basic common sense that when you accuse someone of being an illegal migrant, it cannot happen in a random manner. Now, what we have seen all this while is accusing Indian citizens of being illegal migrant without any basis, without any investigation, in a very arbitrary and a random manner. Now, the Supreme Court says, in this case of Rahim Ali, that this is a case of grave miscarriage of justice. Although the Supreme Court is talking about the instant case, but the Rahim Ali represents all these people. 159,000 people have been rendered stateless. As you rightly say, around 1 lakh cases are pending before the tribunal. More than 2 lakh cases have already been disposed where people have been declared as an Indian citizen. They went through the same process. There is a infrastructure, there is a structure to accuse people of being illegal migrant, to detect, deport, delete, but that should be followed through in a non-arbitrary manner, in a very reasonable manner. The Honorable Supreme Court says that just because there is Section 9 in the Foreigners Act, where the burden of proof is on the accused, that by itself will not give a go-by to the principle of natural justice, which is reasonableness, which is fair hearing, which is giving documents, based on which you are accused of being illegal migrant. Absolutely nothing is being given. Absolutely nothing. So the Honorable Supreme Court goes to the inception of the case of how this person was accused of being an illegal migrant and has come to a conclusion that these documents were not given. There is absolutely no material basis on which this person was accused of being illegal migrant. The court goes further and also strikes to the very core the modus operandi of both the authorities. One, the border police; two, the Foreigners Tribunal. I have already mentioned about the border police. Now, how does the Foreigners Tribunal decide the cases? If there are some minor anomalies in your age, in your name, which is so common, like I said, it just take common sense to come to a conclusion that Rahim Ali and Abdul Rahim could be the same one person. The Honorable Supreme Court says these are minor discrepancies, and also says peoples are uninformed. The Supreme Court quotes in the judgment the literacy rate of Assam, of the India, and says that the enumerators might make some kind of mistake. And also the most important thing, and because I have given all my professional life into this issue, that one para made me cry, and that para was that whatever document Mr. Rahim Ali procured from the official authority, and whatever discrepancy was there, minor discrepancy in name in age, very common. We are the three people on the screen. I can see you take it out. Any one of the document you will find discrepancy, right from the prime minister of this country to the poorest person of this country. You find that document, you will find discrepancy. The Supreme Court says that had it been a illegal migrant, he would not have been so casual. He would have brought all these documents, procured or manufactured all these documents in a manner which does not have this discrepancy. The Supreme Court has imposed a trust on the litigant, which I have never seen. There is a presumption of non-citizenship. The moment you
Great.
are accused of an illegal migrant, you are presumed that you are a non-citizen. The Supreme Court did not treat this path and imposed trust on the petitioner. And this is probably, I should not be emotional, but it was an emotional moment for me.
Professor Islam.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, Now the thing is that Aman has rightly analyzed the case which is before us. Not only that it will make the foreigners tribunal, even the police machinery, the whole machinery of and the process of identifying citizens or foreigners in Assam more humane. It must not lose the humane touch, the basic liberty, the fundamental right of a person to be free in this country as a citizen should not be hindered by some, you can say, non-substantiated allegations. In all other cases, first you have some proof, some preliminary proof without going into the strength of the proof, but there is something there which I am accused of, then I have something to defend against. Here there is nothing on record. Only somebody from the police officials from the top says that inquire against him, and then you start inquiring. What is the basis of that inquiry? Anybody can say anywhere. And unfortunately, I've been talking to my friends in other states. They were just thinking themselves that by God grace they are not living in Assam. Otherwise, anybody can face a case like this. Now, I am going beyond that, and there I will stop. This movement of Supreme Court's judgment is obviously, as Aman said, it is a watershed moment. It will be a milestone, and it will go a long way to ease the future victims, future innocent Indian citizens to face similar kind of, you can say, arbitrary process of the police officials. But what I want to now highlight is that we should go beyond that. Legal activists and other people must go beyond that. Since how long? Who pays for it? 12 years. This case was, this process was initiated in 2004. Declared foreigner in 2012. That itself has 10 years now, more than 10 years. Now, who pays for it? I want to just give a highlight. When I was in Canada, 2017, I think, three Canadian citizens were arrested in Syria. And the Syrian police actually wanted some information going from Canadian side that about their citizenship or some kind of terror links. And Canadian police or authorities made a mistake of sending the wrong documents or wrong information. For that, those people have to suffer in jail for 1 month or so. You know how much compensation they demanded from Canadian government because a citizen was suffering because of a wrongdoing of an official. The government actually apologized to them because it was a $100 million case. So ultimately, they saw that if they pay that one, and generally it is a municipal government who pays, the municipal government will be short of funds. So they actually settled for around $25 million for the wrong done to a Canadian citizen because of a wrong report. Unfortunately, here, and me included, you see, nobody questions us. We are God in India. I am a teacher. I fail a student by 1 mark. Whole life is finished. Nobody can question me. We don't want to be open. That is the problem. And there is no accountability.
I had seen in a judgment one particular paragraph. It say that if you have some documents, you have to submit before the accused and let them give an opportunity to defend based on the evidences which you have provided. That's something very
It is
interesting.
Amanullah support. It is natural justice. It is common law. It need not to be written anywhere in any piece of paper. Everybody, every administration, I include everybody who has some authority, must respect the natural justice. I can accuse a student in the classroom, you are copying. But I must have some basic preliminary fact that why I am suspecting him to be copying in examination. Otherwise, I can accuse anybody in the classroom, you are copying, come out of the room, I'll check your, I'll, I'll finish his 10 minutes of his life's very important examination just because I'm an invigilator and I suspect. I must have something. There is a piece of lying in paper, his activity. I must have something without any defense. And because it is more important, because in this case, the onus of proving that I am innocent or I am a foreigner, in this case, I am a foreigner, lies on me. So before you accuse me and ask me that the onus on me to prove my Indian citizenship, you must show me that why do you suspect?
Aman,
See, I will break this down. So, in civil cases, what happens when you accuse someone of something, or when in the pleading, if there is an allegation, so in the written statement that you file, so bit by bit you reply to that. Now, in these cases, what happens? There is just one notice, which is not even handwritten notice, which is a sort of a default notice, a printed notice, which is just name and date will be written separately for you. So, a
earlier it used
common
to be cyclo style.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So a common notice sent to everyone saying that the authorities have accused of you of being an illegal migrant. They approached you, you could not provide any document. So you have been accused of being illegally migrating to India between, in some notices says before 1970, after 1971. In some notices say between 1966 to 25th March 1971. So come before the tribunal and prove your citizenship. Now, how do I reply to that notice? If I give two documents, suppose, God forbid, I am accused of being an illegal migrant, I will provide my grandfather 1966 document, my father document, linking my grandfather, my father, and my document. Three documents is enough. That's what happened in the NRC. I did not provide more than three documents. Now, in here, I will give you one example. Muhammad Sanaullah, an army officer, provided 26 documents, including one issued by APJ Abdul Kalam, where he was appointed as a junior commissioned officer. That tribunal rejected everything. Everything. Now, where is the allegations? The allegation is that you migrated here. I am just legally trying to explain this. The allegation is you migrated after 1971. So if I provide any document before 1960s and I link myself with a document, that should be enough. But even if you provide n number of documents, produce n number of evidence before it, your teacher, your friend, your parents, still you are declared as a foreigner. So that is why it says that there should be some accusation. The Honorable Supreme Court also goes into say that the notice talk, it doesn't literally talk about the notice, but section 3A where it says there should be the main grounds. Which is the main grounds? You just cannot say that allegation is the main ground. You just allege people. Where are the main grounds? There is no main grounds. So in absence of that main ground, you take a very arbitrary, very unfair approach to declare that person as a foreigner. The Supreme Court has strike everything down. In this judgment, if this judgment is followed, then it would be difficult to declare even one person as a foreigner. Now I am telling you, a lot of people emotionally say, oh, then the entire system collapses. So who is responsible to detect foreigners? It is the border police. Now, if the border police sits at home, like in Sanaullah case, he was in Manipur in a counter-insurgency operation serving the Indian Army called Hifazat. The border police is forging document and accuse him of being an illegal migrant. Now, who is guilty here? The border police. The border police is asked to stop influx, to detect illegal migrants. What they are doing is accusing Indian citizens of being illegal migrants.
But
Now here,
what do you mean by saying if the order is followed, quote unquote? What is the exact meaning of that? Supreme Court order,
so
is it not a binding on all of us?
it's binding on everything.
And
It is
court has
binding
asked it to be circulated to all the FTs.
to all the
In the
foreigners
order.
tribunal. But that's what I'm saying. That this, of course, this is whatever Supreme Court says is law, but this need to be followed by the court below, right?
How can they ignore it? In that Malakar case, Namashudra case, I think the Supreme Court has said, res judicata, you cannot, retry the same case. Against this,
Why
the FT has declared it.
let me try this. Why I say if there are n number of judgments who talks about natural justice. There are n number of justice which talks about non-arbitrariness. The tribunal is the flag bearer of arbitrariness. One of my friends says this is a slaughterhouse of Indian constitution, and I agree with that statement. That these things,
Come again.
he says the slaughterhouse of Indian constitution, and I completely agree with it. Here in the judgment, it says that the kind of penal consequences it has. Your citizenship is gone. You might languish in detention center forever. And it was till 2019. People were there for 9 years. People, Harsh Mandar and Prashant Bhushan, went to the Supreme Court and put a 3 years cap on it, and went to the Supreme Court and brought it down to 2 years. Now, does the tribunals not know the principle of natural justice? It does. Does they not know about the? Do they not know about the principle of non-arbitrary? They do.
Time and again, I have, or you all have seen this kind of behavior of the Foreigners Tribunal. Now we have about 100. Do you think all hundreds are behaving like that, or there are individuals who are still try to follow law, or it are basically
it is endemic. It is not one or two. It is endemic.
I will tell you what the problem is. The problem is that the entire system is wrong. These tribunal members are on a contractual basis. Sarbananda Sonowal, what they did in 2017, they terminated a contract of 19 tribunal member. When they came to the High Court, do you know what the assessment report says? That this tribunal member underperformed. What is the definition of underperformance? That they are not declaring more people as foreigners. So there is a fear in the mind of people that if you do not declare people as foreigner, your contract will go away. You are a lawyer. Then it was 10 years experience. You need to become a lawyer. You leave everything. You become a tribunal member. All of a sudden, if your contract is not extended, what will happen to you? You are back to litigation, and you will start from the scratch. So there are some tribunal, no doubt, who do declare people as Indian citizens, who do appreciate some documents, but then they have a quota. If they declare everyone as an Indian,
if you look at the statistic, almost 3 lakh cases were disposed.
Another thing Talukdar pointed out, and
so in that case, 97, 1 lakh is pending, 3 lakh is disposed in favor of the petitioner. Sorry, that they are declared Indian citizen.
Yes, and there is a catch. There is a catch. Aman, this should be highlighted. That if the Foreigners Tribunal member declares somebody as citizen, this case is reviewed. There is a committee to review his positive decisions. But if he declares somebody as foreigner illegally or by wrongly, then there is no review. So which member will give a positive judgment? Every positive order where somebody is declared as Indian after the process, this is going to be reviewed by another committee at the district level. And who is sitting on the district review? The same border SP and police who have accused in the beginning. So they are looking into the order of the tribunal itself. Second thing, while submitting documents, mostly what we do, all the time we submit documents and we take them on face value. That is legal. A mark sheet which my student bring in for admission, I just take it on face value. If I have some material proof, then I doubt and ask it from the authority. In this tribunal, any document they say it should be certified by the authority concerned. How will you get your metric admit card certified by the issuing authority? How difficult it will be, Talukdar. Imagine that if you give every piece of document to be authenticated by the issuer.
I will just add to it. And guess what? They do actually certify. Produce these offices before the tribunal, and the voter list, electoral roll, is a public document. You don't have to verify with the issuing authority. But despite like the Jamabandi copy, someone from the circle officer comes and verify it. The school certificate, the headmaster comes and verify it. The Gaubura certificate, Gau Panchayat certificate. In most of the cases, they do produce the issuing authority to authenticate the document. But despite that, like sir has rightly said, that if there is some material basis, then only I will disbelieve the document. Here, like I said, there is a presumption of non-citizenship. The moment you appear before the tribunal, in the stage 1, in the so-called investigation report, you are randomly picked up. You just need to be from some linguistic background, either Hindu or Muslim, from a Bengali linguistic background. You can be picked up, and I mean, I want to say that there are Assamese Muslims also whose case I have fought, who have also been declared as foreigner, and there are some Rajbongsi, some Garos also. But there are rare exception. But mostly, if you belong to certain linguistic background, professing both the religion, both people from both the religion have suffered. Then you can be picked up randomly without any investigation, and before the tribunal there is a presumption of non-citizenship. Just because you are accused of being foreigner, your every document will be disbelieved. Every document. And
I have some friends in the bar. I have some friends in the bar like you, which are on the opposite side, representing the government on this citizenship matter. They want to say that majority of the government document which the petitioner put up in front of the court are forced, quote unquote.
See, let me tell this. I have dealt with hundreds of cases, probably more than 700 now. Uh, Except one or two cases, I have not seen any tribunal order which says that the document is forged, fabricated, the document is fake. Even here, even in this case, the tribunal does not question the authenticity of the document. There is no case of forged document here. In the NRC, some 100 cases were filed. I think 300 cases were filed for forgery. Do you know what those documents were? Those are birth certificate of their children. And why? Because in the initial stage, the affidavit of the parents were not accepted. You have made birth certificate a mandatory certificate, a mandatory document, and most of the people they do not have. They forced it. But the mother document, the base document, 1960s, they were not forced. Could be some, I mean cases where rare exceptions, but in majority of the cases, you read tribunal order, you read high court judgments, they do not accuse of being forgery. The modus operandi is this, that your name does not match, that there is a contradictory statement, some contradiction given by the evidence that you have produced. It is not because of forgery that people are being declared as foreigner or losing citizenship, because it is because of these variations, because of these minor some mistakes and all, not producing some document in some manner. In a nutshell, in a hyper technical ground, people are declared as foreigner, not because of forgery of documents and all.
Again,
You
I'm
know
given
that.
to understand that given to understand by the police and the Home Ministry office, Home Department officials of Assam government that since 2009, they're telling it off the record, there has been no new reference from the police to the Foreigners Tribunal. Is it true?
No, no, not 2009. I think they have been giving it
2019.
19. Yes, yes, correct. No, because after that the NRC has come out, right? So there is already a process. A mass scrutiny has happened. Everyone's citizenship has been scrutinized. So why should now they go and pick people and accuse them of being foreigner? See, there is an underlying message here, and I will tell you. There are two ways of finding so-called detecting foreigners. One is the people who actually comes here. This is a phenomena. People from India, they goes through, sir will know, through the Panama route, the Darien Gap, one of the most dangerous jungle, 60 kilometers stretch. 14,000 kilometer people go from India to US. So it is quite obvious some people might sneak into from Bangladesh to India for some reason. This includes some Rohingyas also who are in detention center. So they are charged of being illegally migrating, and they are tried by the judicial magistrate court, and they are called convicted foreigners, right? So these people, they don't claim themselves to be an Indian citizen, but the work the border police and the election commission did, I have not come across in my last 11 years of practice, not one case that they have actually accused one person who is an illegal migrant. They go and they pick these random people from the villages and make them illegal migrant. So now that
Basically,
they
they
have
are doing the jobs,
they
so-called
are
jobs.
doing, so I have actually spoken to two border police constable, and they say, why do you blame us? You know,
Professor Bahar Islam. Now, from here, this is a he said what a said movement. From here, how do you see future of Assam politically,
I
socially,
see.
legally?
It will be a relief, and it will give credence to the long you can say standing, the protests from many of us saying that the legal natural justice and the legal process, the Indian constitutional process is not respected in this whole process of the tribunal, migrant tribunal. But I see the malice lies at somewhere else, and it is a much bigger. In Indian system, the compensation of doing wrong by authorities is not there. You don't punish officials who do such wrong things. So another official goes unpunished. Until and unless the Indian state compensate for people's life, their years, their the livelihood, the social stigma, no, this thing should go on. We generally hear somebody is in jail for 20 years and he came out, he's innocent, nothing happens. It is a class action suit in US, in Canada, in all advanced countries where the citizens are respected. You detain one person for 1 day wrongly, the whole police department will be in the dock. So here it is the whole British kind of things we have now. Now what I'm saying that on two sides it will be. One, it is an immediate impact will be that tribunals will be, I hope, because the judgment typically specifically says that the judgment should go to decision should go to all the tribunals. It should be circulated, and the tribunal members will be more cautious about it. The police officials also do it, but somewhere down the line we have to fight a much broader case. Now we have to find a case that can we give Sanahullah's prestige back? A serving officer was arrested. Can we give his one? And this kind of thing, it impacts everybody. It is not that one person was arrested. The family gets stigmatized. The younger children, the daughters do not get married. Many other devastating effects. The impact of legal cases is not only personal and you can say social. It is psychological and much bigger financial. The people are ruined because these cases are fought. Imagine, I'm giving you an example how financial difficult. I was in Shimla. Suddenly, I got a summon from the NRC authorities that I should come with all my family members to Silchar to give all the documents. I was shocked. My father's name being in the 1951 register, and thankfully that page was not torn, so I could see his name.
Your father was also an MLA.
Yes, an MLA and all those things. So I was shocked that I will call, and somehow I had a friend in government of in Delhi. So he wrote a letter to that officer that he is living, and I was living for abroad actually. So he wrote a letter like he's going abroad on an official mission. But later on, I asked my brother when he went with that letter why he was caught, because somebody else has told my father's name is his father. Now I have to go there with my children to say that this gentleman is not my brother. For God's sake, the soul of my dead father will be pained to see that any random person is becoming his son or daughter.
No, don't tell about that. There are so many stories I have heard and reported, and many people are very unhappy for that also.
I was feeling frustrated that why should I take my children out of school and moving a family with members to Silchar and going back. And I just shuddered in, you can say, fear that how poor people might have faced it.
There is a bigger cost.
No, before you ask something, I have a very layman's point of question. I'm not a legal person. Now, let's say about 97 odd cases are in front of FT.
97,000, yes.
And can this order, this relevant portion, page number 38 to 42, blah blah, that can be put in front of FT by the lawyers, or will they take into any cognizance? Who can
yes, this is the law of the land. This is now Supreme Court's order of the land.
The law, see, like I said, this is a modus operandi. Rahim Ali is not an isolated case.
Yeah,
he is sort of become an epitome of all this injustice. So this is the modus operandi. This is how each and every person is accused of being foreigner. So the entire structure falls now. Entire structure falls. After this, like I say, if this order is followed, and I'm very unfortunately I have to word this word if, because that is the way this tribunal has behaved, giving a go by to all principle of natural justice. If they follow it, they will have to, because there is also burden of proof here. They say if you do not produce this material, the burden of proof doesn't shift on the so-called accused. So first of all, if if this all these principle that has been laid down by the Honorable Supreme Court is followed, all this structure falls. And I
You,
don't think,
this morning I saw you had actually quoted, you actually retweeted my tweet and wrote something like that. Time has come for the Assamese society to address the elephant in the room. The
correct,
elephant in the
correct.
room. Yeah. So
See,
we
see,
have.
I'm telling you. Let me please try to explain. We have been hearing millions and millions, 5 million, 7 million, n number of people have been here. There was a process called NRC. That was the first sort of scientific process, which is being monitored by who? The Supreme Court, who was presiding that badge, and Assamese, Mr. Ranjan Gogoi. Who executed the process? The Sarvando Sonowal, Jatiyo Nayak. His government executed the entire process. How many people excluded? And in capital letter, I always say only 1.9 million. Who are these people? From my family member, my uncle, auntie in the list, two elder children in the list, three siblings is not in the list. These are the people who are here. Now, if the tribunal follow principle of natural justice, give a fair hearing, the 1.9 million will come to some probably single digit or triple digit, not more than that. Why the people of Assam have been lied all these years about this so-called illegal migration? I will just 1 minute.
But again,
CS Muna,
NRC is not very happy. Many people are not happy, and people have.
many
The
people are
government has
not many
rejected
people
it.
are not happy because it does not match with the propaganda that was propagated all these years, 7 million, 8 million. Now you first of all you lie, and if a process does not match that lie, you say we are not happy. Now what kind of convenience is this? You'll have to impose. I mean, who demanded NRC? You demanded NRC. You went to the court. You monitored the process. We did not monitor the process. It is sad that I'm making us versus them here. I should not do that. But it is these people who wanted this NRC, the government led by quote unquote Jatiyo Nayak. His government executed the process, and the number is 1.9 million. Now, if you are not happy, what will make you happy? Me going to detention center and die there? Will that make you happy? I cannot go to detention center and make you happy. I'm sorry. There should be an end to it. And I'm telling you, when the entire process was there, entire community, the Muslim community, they supported it. Do you know why? We wanted a closure. We wanted to leave. Like I said, sir said about the cost. There is a bigger cost. And the bigger cost is my right to live with dignity is being compromised. That is a sacrosanct right. The Honorable Supreme, the Constitution of India was structured in a manner. Everything, every law, everything, if you see, was structured in a manner to protect, to uphold dignity of individual. In the entire thing, the biggest casualty is dignity of individuals. Now, how long will you keep believing in false propaganda? Please go back to 100 years. C.S. Mulan, what did he say? Although he used derogatory words, 1931, he says 500,000 came from 1905. Were they not Indian citizen? 1951, the Muslim population of Assam was 25%. Were they not Indian citizen? Now you say 7-8 million illegal migrants. I mean, there should be some kind of logical interpretation drawn. The migration, now if you say, like my great grandfather who migrated in the 1870s, now if you say, oh, because you belong to different linguistic background, we do not accept you, then you are challenging the entire concept, the mandate of the constitution. If you say the 500,000 people, as mentioned by CS Muller, are illegal migrants, you do not believe in the Indian constitution. The debate should be that whether you believe in the Indian constitution, whether you believe in the mandate of the Indian constitution. If you go back 100 years, 150 years, and say that everyone who came from Bengal or East Bengal are illegal migrants, then I know, I'm sorry to say, you should demand for a different constitution, because this constitution accepts everyone who came before inception, commencement of the constitution, Indian citizen. And then 6A, you have signed this accord, we have not signed this accord. How long you go and drag back and say that there are millions of illegal migrants here? It does not, it simply does not add help the society, help the state. It is not help.
Yeah.
Aman, if I can come in. See, this kind of questions are asked everywhere. You go to Europe, in France, in America, Mexicans, every country, some kind of political mechanization is there where this kind of brought out as an imaginary ghost. Now, for example, they are going to be make a wall around America to stop Mexican coming, or you find many other things. Ultimately, what those countries have done, they've accepted even illegal migrants, because if you do not count them on the list, your infrastructure, your health system, everything falls down. So ultimately, you have to live with a human being who has or whose grandfather might have migrated here. But if you continue to put them as a kind of a different within the society, then it will be a problem of social ethnic bonding. You cannot run long as you are putting. For example, if you put ultimately what you can say, you put something inside the body, and then you continue to carry it along with the body and continue to blame it also, it has become mashed. Now the thing is that the law of the land, Indian constitution has to be respected. And I'm coming back to that, the larger question of any wrongly accused Indian citizen, and if his rights are violated, then it must be compensated. Once this compensation goes back to the either the officer, I'm not saying punish the officer, he might have done it under pressure or something, but once this compensation, the civil compensation rolls in, then governments and others will think twice before doing any wrong against anybody. Otherwise, I don't know where we are looking at. There is no class action suit. The people, including everybody, and I want to say very recently, you know uh, a case was, I saw this in a movie. The case was against the surgeon. He has operated wrongly, and the patient, suffered. Now, what is the point is that his professor came in and gave an witness in the case, and he said the doctor behaved like a god. That was his fault. Whether to put that injection was right or wrong, that was to be determined by the medical science. But the doctor says within the operation theater, I am the god and he gave this. So similarly, this border police, these people in the FT, they should not behave like God. They should behave as per the constitution. That's the bottom line.
Let us people of Assam sink into this order and go for the discussion. But I would love to hear from the other side also, and let's see, because this also, it has been a very very emotional issue. Now, if I have to, now I'll be giving about 30 seconds or 1 minute to both of you to wrap up. Vadud, your 1 minute, last 1 minute.
uh, if, like I say again, I'm using this word, if this order judgment is followed in letter and spirit, the better sense should prevail over the border police, and they should withdraw all those reference which they have done in this random manner, without following due process, without following the principle of natural justice. And the tribunals should also follow this order, and do not give a go by to the principle of natural justice, which includes reasonableness, fair hearing, non-arbitrariness. And I sincerely hope the better sense should prevail over all authorities.
Professor Islam.
Yeah, I think because the order came from Supreme Court, and quite a lengthy one, 61 pages of very well thought judgments, reference to all cases, I think it will be very difficult to ignore this order. So I hope every FT member, or every stakeholders will follow this to the letter and spirit. Otherwise, we have to be ready with a kind of, you can say, larger legal battle over this if it is ignored and not fought. And second thing, we should now get ready. People in the bar and bench, everybody, we should, and so civil society, we should get together. We should bring some kind of, you can say, accountability to the people who do wrong in their official capacity against the citizen of the country. Whether it is a professor or a vice chancellor or a lawyer or a police officer, we should respect the natural justice and common law. And if we do not, we should be held responsible for it.
Thank you, Wadud, and thank you, Professor Islam. And let us hope that the people of Assam and India at large discuss and dissect this particular order more and more and understand it. Yes, there are emotions, there are counter arguments also, but still, let the natural justice prevail. And at all, my entire one thing that human, that you call it human law, human or the humanity, that is most important, and sacrosanct. That is the most important thing. because we have been watching this kind of phenomena, this kind of scene for about 50 years. And I am always joking that this is one issue for 50 years. It's not going to have, not solving, and I don't think any of one of our life, Professor Islam or Wadu, do you will see the end of it, because it's continued to, because it's a, I will call it a shop. It's a very beautiful shopping mall, because it keep on giving discounts and keep on giving schemes, so that something is always coming in, and it is basically always saying that beautiful way of producing leaders. 50 years, so many political parties, so many netas, so many MLAs, so many chief ministers. Anyway, it will go on. We will also report. Thank you very much for joining and explaining the whole situation. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
very
Thank you
much.
for having me.
Yeah.